Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Appreciate y'all staying with us. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're gonna go ahead and move on from our sports hour to our socially conscious and entertainment hour, as we do every single week. We start this segment by profiling a missing and/or exploited child. This week, that child is Cherish Cupid. Cherish Cupid is a 12-year-old who is missing from Brooklyn, New York. She's been missing since October 16, 2012. Date of birth is November 14th, 1999. She'll be 13 coming up here soon. So let's try to get her home before her birthday in a couple of weeks. She's a black female who stands 5'3". She's 130 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. She is indeed a runaway. She was last seen wearing multicolored blouse, tan pants, blue sneakers. It's believed that she's still in the Brooklyn area. So if you've seen Cherish Cupid, please contact the National Association for Missing, the National Center rather, for Missing and Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com, or contact them by phone, 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. I had someone ask me recently, why are you profiling runaways? Runaways, they ran away for a reason. Why do we care about them? Because young Cherish and little girls like her, 12 years old, just because she ran away from home doesn't mean that she needs to be out in the street. She needs to be home with her family. So if you've seen young Cherish or any other missing, exploited child, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. I'm going to turn it over to your man Carlton Banks for this next segment, and then we are moving on with the relationships. 804-447-0601. Carlton Banks.
You know, a few days ago, this guy with a lot of money said he had a big announcement to make. And, you know, I don't particularly care for this guy. Plain and simple, I don't like him. But he goes on to say, I will pay Barack Obama $5 million to release his college transcripts or his college records. Really? Really? Why are you coming after Barack Obama and offer him money to do such a thing? What's the point? What are you looking for? Why in the world would you do something like that? Is it, you know, just to be mean? Did you do that to any other president? You say, hey, let me offer you so much money to see this record and that record. If I'm not mistaken, he's also asked to see his birth certificate. And if he gave him his birth certificate, he would release his tax records. Well, if you didn't do the first thing, why would I believe you're going to do the second thing? So I asked my Facebook friends about it. How did they feel about Donald Trump asking President Obama for his records? Now, one person who shall remain nameless, and I'll ask him why he thought this in the first place, thought the man was talking about the next character he's going to have on the what's this show called? The Apprentice. Well, first of all, I want to ask that person, you really watched it? So I'll ask that person later.
I watched The Apprentice.
Yeah, I didn't want to call you out because you were that person who said that.
Yeah,
but
I watched The Apprentice. I like the show, but I don't look at Donald Trump as somebody that's like important media and not media, but important like political wise. Right. I don't take him serious like some people do. So when I heard about this announcement, I took it about as serious as I would take it, and I wrote this in your post.
Yeah, you did.
I would take it about as serious as him announcing the next bunch of Apprentice people. That's how serious I took it. And that's
how I would take it too, probably. But that's more or less, I think, done on a commercial standpoint versus, you know, how he does it that way. But then here goes some of the people who said on my post. First one, I might have to say it was kind of funny to see what she said, which was trying to do something with a duck, but that's about it. Other people really took it personal, whereas they said it was a racial thing. They said it was an economical thing. People voting for Romney need to think long and hard. If Romney wins, he's going to be a certain type of clown who would not shut his mouth and would claim we won the election for Mitt. Another person said he just wants to remain relevant. Dude needs to have a seat. Then you have a person who's like, this is something, nothing to have. Sure, there's nothing to hide. However, the scrutiny that he's dealt with for 4 years cannot be matched by any other president. Personally, I think it's a big F you to the doubters. Also, it will only answer a handful of individuals' questions. Most will say it's doctor or lies. So how do you even answer that question? Then here comes a Romney supporter. A Romney supporter says, as president of the United States, you should have no problem releasing information. There pretty much is nothing that remains private when you put yourself in the public eye. Just as with celebrities, we hold him in that office with great respect. Unfortunately, scrutiny comes with the territory. Trump offer was silly, but those type of things should not be held from the public. We should know a man's credentials. So then you guys ask yourself, well, didn't he have some type of credentials to get where he is in the first place? Wouldn't you think somebody did some homework to get to see those credentials? Really? I mean, come on. Why are you going to sit here and disrespect the man like that? Another person goes on to say that the only time a candidate will release records is when they are exceptional. Bush Sr., military records because he was a war hero. McCain because it was a POW. The person thought it was BS when the Democrats pressured W for his military records and Kerry on the Swift boat thing and Mitt Romney on his tax returns. But again, you're asking information that should be already known to somebody somewhere in some fashion. The biggest concern I had was the fact that people took it to a racial level. Now, why was it even brought up to a racial level when that shouldn't be the case? One person said, well, we should check BET. I don't know the last time I looked at BET, to be honest. Well, I will be honest. The last time I looked at BET was on to watch the game, which I kind of like some of those actors and actresses that are on that show. So that's the only time I really watched BET. It's all crazy to me to really sit here and say that you need proof of my education, and then what is that going to prove? What is that going to say? I mean, really? Why? So, all this and all, I think Donald Trump is an idiot for wanting to know anything about President Obama. If he really wants that information, go to the school. What do you think, Ruben?
Well, first of all, I know I put in the post. First of all, when they went to the racial thing, look, stop doing it. It's a horrible excuse, and it really, you're playing that card. It's just useless. Stop doing it. That's the first thing I said on the post. Second thing, we keep talking about this dude who he's relevant to nobody. So I don't know. We continue to talk about him. And two, let's just be honest. Last time I checked, he used to be a state senator. Last time I checked, there is his application that he has to fill out to become viable for the president of the United States. So don't you think that we would have checked his records then? Hey, idiots, don't let the stupid media get you all riled up, because let's just be honest. If he wasn't an American citizen, he wouldn't have ran for president, nor could he be president. It's in the rules. Look it up. Stop being stupid.
I think it's all about just trying to make Barack Obama look bad. I mean, it's really no real reason other than that, just to try to get him riled up, get him to show another side of himself, so that he can lose the presidency in a few days. So I think that stuff is just used in order to get under his skin and get him to show his so-called true colors as a black man. But he's not going to do it. He's not going to fall for that.
Hakeem just put a note on the Facebook page that Mr. Trump was looking for attention, which tens of millions of people gave or are giving him. And I co-signed his post by saying, including us, apparently. I mean, that's what it was, an attention grab. That's all it was. I mean, when I was blogging with a Republican friend of mine who is a fair-minded Republican, because they're out there, and this guy was like, yo, I hope he's got something important to say. And I had to remind him, when's the last time Donald Trump had anything important to say that didn't benefit him directly? I mean, it's always about Donald Trump. It's always about attention. It's always about The Apprentice. It's always about whatever business deal he's got going on. It's never for the benefit of other people when it's this kind of stuff. And I agree with you, Charisma, when you talk about the fact that he's trying to embarrass the president. But I think the president has already shown us who he is when it comes to this kind of stuff. You know, you have some people that will argue with you about what president in recent memory has taken the most abuse. My personal opinion is President Obama has. President Bush is a very, very close second to that. But after the darts that have been thrown at this dude, if he ain't snapped yet, he ain't going to snap.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is, Carlton.
I mean, would think that somewhere along this man's mind, he has got to be going crazy with why y'all gotta keep bothering me? I mean, but I guess that's supposed to be what a president has to deal with on a daily basis. But I've never seen it to this extent. It's killing me. I really cannot stand the level of disrespect this man gets on a daily, if not weekly, basis.
I mean, it's not disrespect; it's ignorance.
No, it's disrespect.
Ignorance is way worse than disrespect.
Yeah,
Okay,
these people don't know any better. But I think that Donald Trump knows better. You know,
Right.
I think he knows better, and he panders to a small base, and not just him. A lot of these people do. And, you know, all the names are escaping me right now. But let's not get it twisted. The guy last week who said that, you know, rape babies were heaven sent, and then the guy last couple of months ago that said that the female body has a way of kind of shutting that whole thing down. These people don't say these things because they're the only ones that believe it. There are people who believe that. There are people who agree with them. Not just people, but women. Okay, not the majority of them. But some of them actually believe, because men aren't the only far right wing conservatives.
Yeah.
They have wives and they have daughters
Let's take our country back.
who agree. Yeah, these people who agree with that kind of stuff. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna take one more real quick break, and then it's time for the Diva Diaries for the rest of the show. Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping. Be back in a minute.
Hi, this is Carla from Baltimore. When I want to hear engaging conversation that challenges me to think outside of the box, I make sure I'm tuned in to Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. on globalscaleradio.net. Tune in. It's an experience you won't forget.
Oh, look out. Oh.